The citizens of Torchworld are beginning to take sides on the issue. I've seen many of them wearing these.
You see, most agree with me.
Oh, not really. More than a few of them are wearing these.
Just like that one famous quote describing the logic of Rule 34, if it exists, there's a mascot for it. Whether it be a box of cereal, a theme park, drink mix, candy, chances are you'll find a face for each product, and the Olympics is no exception to this. Since the 1932 Summer Olympics with the introduction to Smokey the Scottish Terrier, mascots have slowly but surely become a staple of both the summer and winter games throughout the past few decades. While there are a lot of Olympic mascots that are beloved to this very day, there are a few that are not so lucky, one of which being the official mascot for the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia, Izzy! Among the amount of promotional material made for the mascot would come in the form of a TV special titled Izzy's Quest for Olympic Gold, which was once considered lost media since its premiere, until 25 years later, when it was released online in December of 2020 thanks to YouTube user James C., who found a VHS recording of the special while cleaning his father's garage. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get the show on the road!
Izzy, what are you... Think fast!
Now before I go over the special and what it's about, let me tell you about the history of Izzy first, especially to those who've never heard of this infamous mascot. In 1999, the Atlanta Committee invited several people in search of what the mascot for the 96 games should be. Among them were John Ryan, who pitched his own idea of a mascot in an attempt to break the game's traditional mascot mold and make something different for once. The mascot in question that he created and pitched was a legless teardrop-shaped creature named Hi-Rez with the intention to be played with. In the end, John's creation was chosen along with a few minor changes such as renaming the mascot to What is it? During the closing ceremony of the 1992 Summer Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain, What is it was revealed to the public for the very first time. And because of how distinct he looks in comparison to his predecessors, the character will receive lots and lots of backlash.
People didn't know who was this mascot. It was impossible to make a comparison with an animal. It was something completely strange.
This led to the character getting a huge makeover with its name being changed to simply Izzy, as well as making the design more suitable towards the worlds of licensing and animation. Despite the committee's best efforts, Izzy's still proven to be unpopular, mostly with adults, while kids on the other hand are more fond of the character.
One newspaper editorial called the commercialism surrounding the games nauseating, but some of the big corporations behind the games say it's nothing more than the American way.
So, what exactly is the special about?
I'm a junkie for beach.
To put it simply, Izzy's quest for Olympic gold follows the titular mascot attempting to earn all 5 Olympic rings in order to be able to participate in the games, which he has dreamed of for a long time, much to the annoyance of his parents, mostly his father George.
No citizen of the Torchworld has ever competed in the Olympic Games, and they never will. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, Martin and Spartan try to cockblock Izzy from getting the chance to earn each of the rings in any way they can. The biggest aspect that made the special stand out to me the most is the impressive amount of voice talent featured, including Robert Paulson.
He is not going to the Olympics.
He is if he earns the 5 Olympic rings.
Which he never will.
Judging from the voice he provided for this character, I wouldn't be surprised if his contribution to the animated special was the primary inspiration for the voice he did for Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron. Who knows? I could be proven wrong. Story-wise, I personally find it pretty average and nothing too interesting to note about, especially considering we've all seen similar plots like this in the world of animation countless of times beforehand, regardless of execution. I do admire the characters, however, especially of how they tried to give more depth to Izzy beyond being the face of the 96 Summer Games, and his VA did a pretty good job bringing him to life vocally.
Oh, look, Spartan, it's Izzy, the great athlete.
And what about you, Martin? Are you an athlete too?
or just an athletic supporter?
I also have to give a shout out to the artists and animators who did a solid job creating the torch world Izzy, his family, and friends live, as the backgrounds are colorful and creative. Reminds me a lot of Hanna-Barbera's Pac-Man cartoon. I even like when certain shots give the characters the occasional uses of shading.
The kid's got spunk.
Izzy's Quest for Bitches and Hosts was produced by the aforementioned Atlanta Committee, aka ACOG, and Film Roman, the latter of which is an American animation studio known for producing shows such as Wow Wow Wubsy and the first 2 seasons of Family Guy. The special first premiered in August of 1995 on TNT as part of the TNT Toons block, and would air on repeat a year later on Cartoon Network as the Summer Olympics drew closer. This definitely explains why it was lost media for a long time, and it didn't help that Izzy's popularity would begin to tank lower and lower while the games were still active. Ever since I first watched the special around a few months ago, thanks to brand management's coverage of 90s Olympic mascots, which I'll link below if you're curious, Izzy's Quest for Peaches in Georgia became one of my new favorite pieces of lost media that have been found alongside Billy and Mandy in the Treepanation of the Skull and You, a short film Maxwell Adams created in college. It's truly one of those you really had to be there moments in lost media history. In case if you're asking, yes, I would highly recommend this special to anyone, especially to those who are fascinated by lost media and mascots like Izzy, as well as the creation behind them. Who knows if I'll cover more media involving mascots? Only time will tell.
Time for some special rainbow magic.
Just the Olympic Games.
Aye, to make a special Olympic edition Lucky Charms.
Look!
With 6 new Olympic Games marshmallows.
Captain Lucky Charms!
Yikes! With marshmallow stars and rainbows in red, white, and blue. Oh, marshmallow medallions and an Olympic torch, too.
It's Lucky Charms with Olympic Games marshmallows.
Catch 'em if you can.
A special part of this complete breakfast for a limited time only.
It's new Olympic edition Lucky Charms.
Dickhead.